Okay, guys, today we're going to start by looking at bar graphs. So we're going to look at the bar graphs and we're going to identify the answers by looking at that bar graph, okay? So like always, we want to read the problem and all the answer choices and identify what is being asked, okay? And in this case, we're going to use a proportion to compare our part to whole because sometimes we have percentages, sometimes we need to figure out what's going on. And then we find the total of each combination using the bar graph. Okay, so this one we want to find Harold surveyed 30 people about their favorite type of restaurant. So he surveyed 30 people. So that's my total. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, when I make a proportion, I want my total on the bottom. So I'm going to put 30 on the bottom. Okay, because that's my total. The results are shown in the bar graph. Based on the information in the bar graph, what percent of people preferred American food? So they're asking about American food. So if I minimize this, we're going to look at American food, and we're going to go up here and see how many of that was. So that's 12 people. So on here, I'm going to put 12 over 30 because this is American food, and this is my total. Okay? And then we're trying to find the percentage, okay? So percentage is I'm trying to find how many like American food for percentage. So I'm going to put an X on top because I don't know what percentage it is. And then percents are always out of 100. Okay, so when we're looking for percents, we're always going to put it over 100. And then just like any proportion, we're going to cross multiply and then divide. Okay, so I'm going to do 100 times 12, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 1. Okay, and that gives me 1,200, and then I'm going to divide by 30. So I'm going to do 30 goes into 1,200. Okay, 30 can't go into 1, 30 can't go into 12, but 30 can go into 120. And it goes 4 times because 4 times 0 is 0, and 4 times 3 is 12. That's 0, and there's a 0 still here left, so I need to put a 0 at the end. So that means my answer is 40. So 40% of the 30 people surveyed like American food. Okay, that's all we got to do. That's all we got to do. Okay, let's go on to the next one. The bar graph shows the number of members and non-members who visited Zoo over the last 5 days. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, which statement is supported by the information in the graph? So we're going to read each of these answers, and then we're going to see one by one if it's true. The number of members increased by 400 people each day. So we're looking at members. Okay, so I'm going to look at members. So let's write how many members there are. Members is light blue. So that would be 1,200. Okay, I'm going to write it like this on here. Okay, so I'm going to write members is 1,200 on day 1. On day 2, let's look at it. Up. That's 1,200. That's 1,600, which means it goes up by 200 each time. So this would be 1,400. And we can stop right there. If it goes from 1,200 to 1,400, it only increased by 200. So I know it's not that one. Okay, so we're going to take that one out. The number of members on day 3, so my members on day 3, is twice the number of members on day 1. So this is 1,600, and that's 1,200. So 1,600 would need to be twice 1,200, but that's not right. So we're going to cross that one out. The combined number of members on day 1 and day 5 was 600 more than the number of non-members on day 3. So we're looking at members on day 1 and 5, and then non-members on day 3. Okay, so we want to find the numbers for those. So I wrote them down here. Okay, members on day 1 and day 5. So I know day 1 is 1,200, so I'm going to put 1,200 and day 5 together. So that would be this one. So that would be 2,000. That's all the way up at the top. So if I add those together, I get 3,200. Okay, and then non-members on day 3. Non-members on day 3 is 1,600. Okay, and it says the combined number of members on day 1 and day 5 was 600 more than the number of non-members on day 3. So we're going to subtract these two answers. Okay, so we're going to subtract these two answers and see if they're 600 apart. So I'm going to do 3,200 minus 1,600. Okay, that would be 0. That would be 0. 12 minus 6 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. So this would be 1,600. Okay, so that's not 600 apart. That's 1,000 more than 600 apart. So I know it's not C. Okay, the combined number of members on day 1 and day 2. So members on day 1 and day 2. Was equal to the combined number of non-members. So non-members. On day 2 and day 3. Okay, so let's look at those numbers. So members, right? Members on, oops, you can't see it. Members on day 1 and day 2. So day 1 is 1,200. And day 2 for members is 1,400. When I add those together, I get 2,600. And then non-members on 2 and 3. So my dark ones. 2 is 1,000. Plus day 3 is 1,600. Okay, so when I add those together, I get 2,600, and they are indeed equal. These are the same. So that would mean my answer is D. Okay, let's do one more. The bar graph shows the attendance at school dances. The ticket price for each dance is $5 per student. Which two dances together earn 37.5% of the total ticket sales? Okay, so this one is going to take a little bit more work. Okay, so I need to find the ticket sales for each of them. Okay, so I'm going to go through. I'm going to just go by here. Fall Dance and Spring Festival. Okay, the fall dance. So actually, I need to find the ticket prices for all of them. Okay, so fall dance, I'm going to put FD. To find the ticket price of that, if they sold 60 tickets, because it says 60, I need to multiply that by 5 because each ticket was $5. Okay, so that's $300 here. Okay, and then my winter snowball, so I'm going to put WS, sold, let's see, that's halfway in between 100 and 120, which is 110. 110 times 5, which is $550. And then my Valentine's Day ball, so I'm going to put VD, was 80. So we're going to put 80 times 5, which is 400. And then I'm going to do my spring fling. So I'm going to put SF. And my spring fling was right there at 40. So we're going to do 40 times 5, which is $200. And then my last one, the end of year bash, end of year. Okay, which is in between 20 and 40. So it would be 30 times 5 is 150. Okay, and then I need to add those all together to find my total, because remember, when I set up a proportion, I need the total. Okay, so all zeros is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. 4, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 1,600. Okay, so let's set up our proportions. So I know my total is always going to be on the bottom, 1,600. Okay, and we're looking for which one was 37.5%. Okay, so this side, when I do all of these, is going to be the same. Okay, and then I'm trying to find this one. Okay, so I'm going to find this. I'm going to set this proportion. I'm going to find out what that X is, and then I'm going to compare it to the totals of each of these. to see which one has that total. Okay, so I'm going to do 1600 times 37.5. Okay, 1600 times 37.5. 0, 0, 30, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1 0 because we're in the tens now. 0, 0, 42, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then 2 zeros because we're in the tens place now. 0, 0, 18. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, 0, 0, 0, 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, 6. 1 decimal. So that's 60,000. And then when I divide by 100, all I have to do, if it's all zeros at the end, I just cross off 2 zeros. So I cross off 2 zeros, and that makes my answer 600. Okay, so I'm looking for 2 dances that made $600 total. Okay, so let's look at this: the fall festival, and the spring fling. So fall festival and the spring fling. 300 plus 200. 300 plus 200 is 500. So it's not that one because we're looking for 600. Let's look at the Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day and spring fling, 400 and 200. 400 plus 200 is 600, right? So it could be that one. Let's see, fall dance and end of year, 300 plus 150, that's 450. And then the winter snowball, 550, and Valentine's, 550 plus 400 was way more than 600. So that ends up being my B, because Valentine's Day plus the spring fling equals 600, because 400 plus 200 is 600. Okay, so on this one, it took a little bit of time. We had to figure out what the total was. So I needed to take the number that attended each dance and multiply it by 5 to get how much they got, how much total in sales they did for each of these. So I had to do that 5 times. And then I set up a proportion to see what percent, how much in sales that percentage is. So I had to add them all together to find the total. Okay, and I'm trying to find out what number, how much money it is that percentage. So I put 37.5, which was the percentage, over 100. Okay, and then I did my cross multiplication and division. Okay, and that's all I have to do here. So I found that was 600, and then I found which two added together makes 600. And that's all I had to do. Okay, guys, you have a great day. That's all I have for you. Make sure you get your work done. That's all we're doing today. If you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks, guys. You have a great day.